Welcome back to Investing Talk Podcast.
Today we're looking at NOVONIX. The big question is it a good time to buy now?
We want to hear from you. Subscribe, like, and comment to support the show. And if there's a specific company you want us to look into, leave it in the comments below.
So let's get into the analysis of NOVONIX. This company, it's not just another name in the battery space. They're really positioned, at the forefront of the battery anode materials market. Crucial stuff for EVs.
Okay, anode materials. And they're supplying globally. North America, Asia.
That's right. North America, Asia, Australia, Europe. They've got reach. But the key thing is their tech leadership.
What makes them leaders, though? What's the actual differentiator in such a crowded field?
It boils down to two main things. First, they're high-performance synthetic graphite.
Synthetic, not natural. Why does that matter so much?
Well, synthetic graphite generally gives you faster charging speeds, much better cycle life, how many times you can charge and discharge, and it's just more consistent, purer.
Got it. So better performance, especially for, higher-end cars.
Exactly. And the second piece is their own proprietary battery testing equipment.
Ah, so they test their own stuff.
Yes, and that's huge. It's not just a side thing. This intellectual property, this IP, it lets them validate their materials super quickly, helps them land contracts faster because they can prove the performance, builds trust.
Okay, so it's like an integrated solution, not just selling powder, but proving it works.
Precisely. It creates a kind of competitive moat around them.
That sounds really strong, especially with, everyone trying to build up the North American EV supply chain. But let's look at the numbers, because the history, well, it's been a bit rough, hasn't it?
Yeah, you have to talk about the revenue roller coaster.
2024 revenue was just $5.85 million. That's small.
And it was actually down 27.3% from 2023, which was about $8 million.
Right. So if you're just looking backward, you see sales shrinking. Not exactly a growth story.
Definitely not. And that volatility, it suggests maybe delays, a tough operating environment.
So why the excitement then? Why are we even talking about them if sales are going the wrong way?
Because the narrative here is all about a massive inflection point. Pivot. That past revenue reflects the R&D phase, the pilot lines, the cost of getting ready to scale up commercially.
Okay.
And the analyst community seems to believe they've now crossed that hurdle, or are just about to.
And that's why the forecast looks so different.
Radically different. The consensus forecast is, frankly, pretty breathtaking.
Okay, hit me with it. What's the number that justifies this whole conversation?
All right. For 2026, just 2 years out, analysts expect revenue to rocket up to $224.92 million.
Whoa, hang on. From under $6 million to over $224 million in 2 years.
Yeah. To give you the percentage, that's forecast growth of 1,344.85% year over year for 2026.
1,300%. That's the whole bet right there, isn't it?
That's the bet. It shows the kind of scalability potential analysts see as these big contracts hopefully kick in and mature. They're moving from pilot to mass production.
If they pull it off, it's incredible. If they miss,
then the story falls apart. Exactly.
Yeah.
Which brings us to the bottom line, profitability.
They're not profitable now, I assume.
No, definitely not. For 2024, the net loss was significant, negative $74.82 million.
Burning a lot of cash to build this out?
They are, but the forecast shows improvement there too. The loss is expected to narrow.
How quickly? What are we seeing in terms of, say, earnings per share?
So EPS is projected to improve from negative 0.15 in 2024 to negative 0.09 by 2026.
Okay, still negative, but heading in the right direction, closing the gap.
Right. That narrowing loss is key. It suggests that as volume ramps up that massive revenue growth we talked about, their margins should improve. The fixed costs of the new plants get spread over way more product.
Makes sense. Volume drives the margin at this stage. Now, building all this takes capital, huge amounts. How's their financial strength looking? The balance sheet?
Actually, surprisingly strong in one key area, leverage.
Meaning debt.
Exactly. Recent snapshots show basically no material debt.
Really? For a company trying to scale manufacturing like this?
Yeah, it gives them a lot of operational flexibility. Less worry about insolvency risk if the market turns sour or there are delays.
That's a definite positive, and they have cash.
They do. They secured a $38 million funding tranche just recently, back in October 2025. So they have liquidity for this scale-up phase.
Okay, let me play devil's advocate, though. No debt. Is that always good for a company needing to build huge factories?
Interesting point.
Shouldn't they maybe be using cheap debt, especially with potential government support? to build faster to meet that 1,300% growth. Is being debt-free actually too conservative here?
That's a fair challenge. You could argue they should be more aggressive, but I think management might be prioritizing risk management. Showing they can fund this initial critical phase without loading up on debt might be reassuring investors,
Yeah.
given the, inherent execution risks.
Okay, fair enough. A clean balance sheet does provide confidence, especially if things take longer than expected. All right, so how does the market, particularly analysts, weigh this risk versus reward?
Overwhelmingly positive, actually. The sentiment is very bullish.
You see that in the ratings.
Absolutely. It's got a strong buy recommendation. The average broker rating, or ABR, is 1.00.
And 1.00 is the best possible score, right? It means every analyst covering it is saying buy.
That's it. Complete bullish consensus from the reporting brokerage. And look at the price targets.
Where do they see it going?
The average is around $3.30 to $3.35.
Okay. And the stock recently closed around, what, $1.81?
1.815, yeah. So those targets imply, well, up to 189% potential upside from recent levels.
Wow. That's a huge potential return. The market seems to be buying into that growth story becoming reality.
It suggests they're giving more credit now to the idea that this growth cycle is visible. It's starting.
And what about the technical picture? Do the charts back up this bullishness?
They do, actually. The momentum looks quite strong right now. The stock's trading above key moving averages,
Which ones?
both the 50-day and the 200-day.
And for listeners who don't live and breathe charts, what does that signal, simply?
It basically shows solid trend support. The 50-day, that's your shorter-term sentiment, around $1.60 now. The 200-day is the longer-term trend, down at $1.34. Being above both usually means the bullish trend is considered intact, maybe even strengthening.
Okay. And any other indicators, like RSI or...
Yeah, the RSI Relative Strength Index is interesting. It's around 48.6.
Which is pretty neutral, right? Not overbought.
Exactly. It's not flashing warning signs like it's gone up too far too fast. An RSI below 70 suggests there's still room to run before it gets technically stretched.
Makes sense.
And you add to that the ADX indicator, which measures the strength of the trend. It's at 35.06. That's considered a strong trending environment.
So the trend is up, and it's a strong trend, and it's not overbought yet.
That's the picture. Technically, it looks like the path of least resistance could be higher, especially with potential news coming up.
Okay, we've talked about the plan, the forecasts, massive numbers, but plans are just plans until something actually happens. What have they done recently, like tangible steps, that justifies this bullish view and the stock move?
The last quarter, especially the last 3 months, has been really crucial. Things started shifting.
How so?
Well, back in August 2025, they announced they'd completed the internal switch to actually manufacturing commercial-scale synthetic graphite. So the capability was there.
Right, turning the factory on, basically.
Sort of. But the real catalyst, the thing that got the market excited, was in October 2025. They delivered their first sample of this commercial-grade graphite.
Proof of concept, physical product.
Exactly, tangible proof. And the market reaction was immediate.
That's when the stock jumped.
Yep, nearly 40% surge. Investors saw that sample as confirmation. The tech works at scale, the facility is running, they're ready for actual sales. It suddenly made that huge 2026 revenue number seem, well, more believable. That was the go signal people were waiting for.
Okay, so they've shown they can make the product. Now everyone's watching the calendar. Yeah,
Well,
it's coming up.
The next 3 months are potentially packed with catalysts. Lots of things that could move the stock.
Let's start with the financials. Any earnings dates?
Yes. The Q3 2025 earnings release. That's expected sometime in the first half of December.
And what will people be looking for there? Still losing money, presumably.
Oh, yeah, still a loss. But the market will be laser focused on the revenue number.
Yeah.
Does it confirm that year-over-year step up? Is the commercial ramp actually starting as planned?
Got it. Confirmation of the trajectory. What about non-financial catalysts? Commercial news.
This is arguably even more important right now. The big one is potential announcements of major supply contracts, offtake agreements.
With who? Car companies.
Ideally, yes.
Yes.
Major OEM partners, original equipment manufacturers, particularly in North America or maybe Asia.
And getting one of those locked in before year-end would be huge.
Transformative. It would basically underwrite a chunk of that $224 million target for 2026. It tells investors, look, the stuff we're building factories for, it's already sold. Huge de-risking event.
Okay, what else? Anything more structural?
There's the market flow aspect. In early December, you often get the S&P/SX index rebalancing, maybe ETF adjustments too.
How does that impact things?
Well, if NOVONIX gets added or its weighting changes in key indexes, Funds that track those indexes have to buy or sell the stock. It can create significant non-fundamental demand or supply pressure, just mechanics, but it moves the price.
Right. Forced buying or selling. Good point.
And then you get into the rumor mill, the speculation side.
Ah, the fun stuff.
Hmm.
What's the chatter in the forums?
Well, nothing confirmed, obviously, but persistent buzz about potential new partnerships. More of those off-take agreements with big EV names, maybe ones not yet announced.
Makes sense they'd need more than one customer for that kind of revenue.
Exactly. And the other big area of speculation is government money.
Like grants or loans.
Yeah, particularly North American government awards. Think subsidies, maybe benefits under the Inflation Reduction Act, or similar programs aimed at building that domestic supply chain.
And if they landed a big grant for the Gigafactory build-out?
That would be massive. It's essentially free cash, non-dilutive funding. Means they can build faster without issuing more stock and diluting current shareholders. That kind of news could easily spark a big rally.
Okay, lots of potential positives on the horizon, but we have to talk about the risks. If the upside is potentially 180-odd%, the downside has to be considerable too.
Absolutely. It's crucial to be clear-eyed about this. The number one risk, without a doubt, is execution risk.
Meaning, can they actually do what they say they're going to do?
Precisely. Remember that 1,300% revenue ramp? That's a projection. They're still losing money. Everything depends on successfully scaling up production, hitting those revenue targets, and doing it on schedule.
And if they slip, construction takes longer, a machine doesn't work, a permit gets delayed?
Any significant delay could be really damaging. It pushes out profitability, might force them to raise more cash, potentially at lower valuations if the market loses faith. It's like going from a garage startup to a massive factory overnight. The operational challenges are immense.
Okay, execution risk number one. What else?
Concentration risk is another one. Customer concentration.
Meaning they rely on just a few big buyers.
That's likely the case initially. You land one or two huge contracts with major OEMs. That's great, but it also means losing one of those key customers would have an outsized negative impact on that revenue ramp.
Diversifying the customer base will be key long-term then.
Definitely. And then there's the broader sector risk. Competition.
Right. They're not the only ones making battery materials.
Far from it. They're up against huge established Asian players who have scale and cost advantages in some areas.
Even with the North American focus.
Even with that tailwind, it's still a global market. Plus, you have general market volatility, especially for growth stocks that aren't profitable yet. They can get hit hard in risk-off environments.
Okay, so it's a real balancing act. Huge potential tied to EV growth and domestic supply chains, clean balance sheet.
Versus massive execution hurdles, reliance on forecasts, customer concentration, and tough competition. That's the tension.
So wrapping it all up, what's the final investment thesis here? Still bullish.
Yeah, overall, the thesis remains bullish. We landed on an 8.5 out of 10 rating. The core idea is this. NOVONIX seems to be right at that critical commercial turning point. They have strong structural trends behind them. The EV boom, the push for local supply chains, the tech seems solid. And minimal debt helps.
They just need to deliver now.
That's it in a nutshell. Prove they can scale efficiently and lock in those sales.
And who is the stock best suited for then, given the risks and potential rewards?
It kind of fits two profiles, interestingly. Short term, you have traders who might play the volatility around these upcoming catalysts, the earnings, the potential contract news, event-driven trading.
Riding the news flow.
Right. But maybe the more compelling case is for long-term investors, someone willing to ride out the volatility because they believe in the multi-year hypergrowth story tied to that whole battery ecosystem build-out.
Okay, so it requires patience or good timing.
Or both.
The path forward for NOVONIX is clear. Show us the sales or the stock price may stall.